Hello and welcome back to Rage Game Videos and welcome to the beta of Monster Hunter Wilds. At least this is the early version as I cower in the Sandtide. What we're looking at here is the PlayStation 5's Plus members, basically the online subscription service. This will run for 2 days. Then we'll have a day pause, and then everyone's going to get access for free, whether you're on PlayStation, Xbox, or Steam and PC that way. So, what do we have here? As you can see, we have our new main menu with all the settings and quite a lot of new accessibility stuff that they're giving us. A cool setting here is this arachnophobia option that's going to turn some of the things that are going to make certain people more squeamish into things that are a lot more manageable. But the beta, as explained and expected, is cut into 3 sections. However, you don't get to exactly choose. Let's start with the character creator, which is really in depth. What's really nice about this is the fact that if you're going to play on PlayStation or whatever the save, you can bring forward to the full release and then just jump in with the character you make now, which means you don't have to spend the time on release day actually doing that again. In any case, some of the nicer stuff, obviously there's still lots of generic mess with your nose shape, make your mouth look whatever. There's the underclothes, the classic stuff from Monster Hunter, as well as your armor. And what's really cool about this is the fact that you can pick and choose. Usually there's 2 different kind of gender options. Say you're male, you got underclothes A or B. You're female, you have underclothes A or B. You can run both of them. And you can run bits of them. So if you want the female B version for the head, but then you want the male A version for the chest, you can. You can fully go to that level of detail, color and everything. And we can do the same for the starting Hope armor set, where you can choose to have, the hood version, but then the smaller coat. It's really quite nice customization beyond just how you're making your character actually look. The thing is, you might wonder, can I make changes to this after I do it now? The answer is yes. If you go to any 10, you can have a 5th tab called Change Appearance, which appears to let us make these changes as much as we want. Now, I don't imagine that's going to be in the full game. You know how they like to do it. You have to buy these tickets, or maybe they give you 1 free ticket one time, then you have to buy them from then on. We'll see how it actually works, but at least for the purpose of this beta, you can customize your character over and over just using the 10. Obviously, we also have a palico, which we can customize. Pretty familiar standard stuff here, but we cannot customize our seikret in this menu, not yet. We'll see how it works in the full game. We know seikret customization has been confirmed. We've seen different seikrets. Overall, though, this character creator is very impressive for Monster Hunter. I'm really liking it, so yeah, go nuts. Next, you have the story mission. So this is where we're going to begin. You're not going to be able to choose to do the free roam style hunt until you've completed this story mission. Fortunately, it is very quick. It's not a long thing. In short, you're going to open up, have the kind of backstory to why you're here, what's going on, the kind of context, and then we load back into the current timeline on this ship in the Windward Plains, having entered the Forbidden Lands for the first time. Now, as we've seen before from different footage, and this is actually the same demo I played, the story mission, you will be seeing someone running from this kind of horde of balaharas. You'll jump onto the seikret and help them through a kind of on track or on wheels mini game where you're shooting screamer pods to get the balaharas off you or bringing down certain terrain. But the mission is to go save someone else who's in a nearby cave with a chatacabra. So this hunt is a weak chatacabra hunt. While you're here though, at the tent, be sure to speak with the handler. She'll let you choose what equipment you want to run, and initially here, you'll only have 1 weapon rather than 2. She will give you the option though of a little quiz if you're not sure what to pick. Now, while you're here, I would strongly recommend 2 things. Firstly, attack the barrel. It's going to work as a suitable testing dummy, although it still doesn't seem to generate wounds, so you're not able to test with focus mode attacks on this, which is a bit of a shame. My real tip is actually this. If you pull up the menu, right, and you've got all these tabs, what you can do is come to Play Guide, and I strongly recommend you come to Weapon Controls, and then pick the weapon you're interested in learning and seeing what's changed. Here we have 3 tabs. So here's all the basic attacks, and then some of the kind of combos that go into it. Then we have the next tab, which is going to describe some of the mechanics of the weapon, and then the last tab, which is more about the combo specifically. There's a new evade for dual blades, right, where when you perfect evade, it activates something called demon dodge. Now you have this 8-second period where you're blue and you're able to do a special dodge and attack at the same time, or extend it with a spiral spin. Awesome. That's what I thought it was. But now, as I come to this menu, I can see this new information called the Demon Boost Mode, referring to it as an empowered state entered after a successful perfect evade. And apparently, this boosts both regular and element damage for the dual blades while this is going on, as well as the whole attack while dodging thing. So for dual blades, it's extremely important to land these perfect evades because it's a damage increase for raw and element damage at the same time. And you may learn something unexpected like I did here by going into these menus. So complete the story mission, get the free mode kind of unlocked, and then it'll bring you to that. Here, where we are now, we're on the Windward Plains and we have 4 monsters you can hunt. There's the doshaguma, which is the main objective of the hunt. There's the chatacabra, again, different versions of that. There's balahara, and yes, Railgun is actually here available in this open beta, which is a wonderful thing. As a little reminder, Railgun will show up, as you can see, during the Sandtide. So there's 3 different periods during the Windward Plains. You have the initial one, the time of fallow, then we have the time of inclemency, which in this region is called the Sandtide, that's the storm. And then when that ends, we have the time of plenty, where we're, most beautiful area. Railgun will still be here in the time of plenty, but it's when the Sandtide begins that Railgun might show up. And you can check because he's going to be that question mark symbol on the map, showing up around areas 14 and 13 specifically if you're going to hunt him down. Now, one thing you're definitely going to notice when you load in here is the multiplayer lobbies are back. When you're in the base camp, this will now function as if you're in the gathering hub, say in World and other games. So it's up to 16 random players that will appear in your base camp hanging out with all the different outfits and so on. You'll see all their names, you'll see their palico names too, and this can be a little bit overwhelming because technically this isn't a 16-player lobby at all. It's 100 players in one lobby and you're pulling from that pool. But very quickly we're going to get to that 16 cap, as you can see. Now, I imagine if you're in a group, you will just see your group. But if you want to mess with this stuff, what you can do is pull up the communications tab, which is the 4th one. Here we can see, conversation options. But if you want to go a little bit further, you can choose player list, and this will show you all of the players that are currently nearby to you, all of their names and information about them, where they are, what they're doing. If someone's being annoying, this is where I would go to quickly go ahead and block them. If someone's getting annoying by spamming stickers or getting in the way, if anything's bothering you, this is where you would mess with that. I do hope that we get more features like this. I was looking through the settings. Like for me, I would like to turn off all palico names. I don't want to see those when I'm in this gathering hub style setting, but we'll see at launch what kind of quality of life they get. And obviously this beta is going to be a great option for them to learn this kind of feedback. But if you want to see what everyone's doing, you can pull up the quest board or go to the handler and speak with her. And then through this, we're going to see a lot. You can choose your settings to mess with what's actually available. And then what you're going to choose is lobby member quests. And what you'll see is that we have the 4 monsters I've just listed, but they have different levels. For example, this doshaguma is a 1-star, but this one is a 3-star. That is because, yes, monsters can have different difficulty levels, and they seem to go up to 4 stars maximum of the 3 base monsters. However, the investigation for Railgun, it's a 5-star every single time. It won't matter for us, but it's, good to know long-term big picture for the game release. But these are like investigations, and you can see the bonus reward. So random stuff there, right? But this one actually has a gem as a guaranteed bonus reward. So at launch, if you're after those, this is going to be a great way to do this. So that's that. I also recommend you go into your tent pretty early on before you go anywhere for a bunch of reasons. Starting with the first tab, transfer items from your item pouch or whatever, very helpful. I would strongly recommend you do this because what you're going to have in your bags is kind of random junk. What you will have 0 of, for example, is nullberries, which are going to be incredibly relevant if you're going to go fight Railgun, and then also bringing some traps and so on, setting up a quick loadout, that's going to be certainly worth doing for this beta. Next, change equipment. You will find that you have 2 slots. You have the primary and secondary. That's basically the 2 weapons you're going to swap between, so set that up however you like. But for the armor, you're going to have all of the options for these monsters except for Railgun. So we have the Hope set, we have the Doshaguma set, Balahara, and also Chatacabra. As you can see, they come with their own equipment skills on the right, unique to each piece. So say the Hope helmet, that's stun resistance. Say the Hope chest piece, that is indeed divine blessing as we know it. So you can check all the information about skills and what's available as before, but do be aware that there are also set bonuses as I was explaining recently. So flexible leather craft here. To activate this, we're going to need 3 levels of it. Not too relevant, but what is relevant is scaling prowess, making it easy to mount monsters. Or say you're someone that can actually trigger power clashes or uses offset attacks, you get an extra +10 to your attack when doing that when wearing either 2 or 4 pieces of the Doshaguma set, which I would strongly recommend for any weapon that's using that. We don't have like a massive list of skills then, but basically what I'm trying to tell you is there are some relevant ones, and if you want to run a min-max, mixed set, you can to be efficient. but you will look like a clown, so it's up to you how serious you take this. While you're here, you can also change palico deployment status. This is just if you don't want a palico with you, but I'd recommend messing with the palico equipment. Here you can change their weapons. 3 of them are the same stats but blunt damage, and then the last one is severing to help you cut off tails if that's what you need. Guess it depends on what weapon you're using. Otherwise, the armor set is just mostly, not going to matter, but there's incredible sets for doshaguma, and then especially the mech style one for balahara. It's incredible. Also here then we have a grill and meal. You can do this with a portable grill when you're out in the world, or in a portable tent or the main tent, but ultimately it's a familiar system. Eat for a 30-minute buff that's going to give you more health and more stamina. And based on what you actually go for, you might get attack up and so on. I would recommend a recommended meal without thinking about it, because the recommended meal is the one that I would probably build. Custom meal shows the ration, additional ingredients and finishing touches. Ration is basically the main sort of meal. So meat will give you attack up, fish will give you +4 defense, veggies gives you defense and element resistance but less defense. So for most of us that's going to be meat. Then we have an option for additional ingredients, some mushroom or shrimp. Both of these are pretty good. Reduce stamina depletion, or slightly extend the invulnerability period when evading. Both of these are going to be amazing. And lastly, the finishing touches. We can lessen the effects of ailments, we can increase the amount of healing when recovering, and we can negate the effects of hot or cold climates. So I would go Eastern Honey here for sure, and that's basically the new cooking system, which you can do, again, anywhere with a portable grill, as well as in your tents. The last tab here that we're going to talk about is the post-join quest thing, which I just explained you can do with a handler, same system. Next, a quick talk about the map, which is absolutely incredible. As you can see, we can see the whole map, and if you use the right stick with a controller, you can turn it. This is going to give you a great perspective on where vertical paths actually are and how to get somewhere. For example, in Area 13, there's a hidden cave, and finding it can be a bit difficult if you're just going to play normally. And to find it, you can also go to the 3 different levels. There's the top level and the bottom level, which does reveal the path leading down, which is going to be a great way to find the caverns. But there is actually a height area as well, just over here by area 3 and 1, and this is how we're going to get to it. All the different paths are going to be shown here, so this is going to be a great way to learn how to get around the map. The other thing that you can learn about when looking at the map is actually at the top left. We have nighttime and time of plenty. So whether it's day or night we can see, and the 3 periods. Next, some super quick tips to do with the seikret. Press up on the D-pad and you can call the seikret to you. But if you want to swap weapon, you press right on the D-pad. The thing is, the seikret has the second weapon in his bag, so you ultimately have to mount the seikret to change your weapon. That's how that works, so be aware the seikret needs to be on you if you're going to swap weapon. But once you are mounted, you can just keep doing it as you can see. You'll also notice the seikret just kind of goes and it feels very awkward at first. Hold R2 or the right trigger and it will stop, and then you can let go and it full stops. If you tap R1, you can slowly adjust the speed at slow, faster and faster, or hold R1 to go to max speed immediately. But as you can see, it automatically goes across terrain without you needing to control anything, so it's not that complicated. You can hold R2 while you're in the air to glide, but it's ultimately going to be on manual or automatic, and when it's on automatic, it goes wherever the scout flies are. So whatever I currently have marked on my map, it's going to go towards it. So let's mark, say, one of these chatacabra here. Now it's marked. There's the scout flies. You can see how they've changed direction. That's where it's going to go. So I can just let it go and just chill out. Maybe I'll sharpen my weapon while we're going. So that's how the seikret generally works. I hope those quick tips will help you. Other thing I want to mention is the radio wheel. Obviously set this up how you want, but the best one is the first one. By holding L1 on a controller, this shows the radio wheel, and we can press D-pad to swap between the different kinds. The top one under action is the best, because it's all set up for you. We can use the right stick to use a whetstone or use an SOS flare, or amazingly, the new optimal health recovery and status recovery system. So let's say I'm only a little hurt, this will automatically use a small regular potion instead of a mega one, not being wasteful. Let's say I've got Thunderblight on me. It will show a nullberry on this side because that's what I need to use there. It'll automatically use one. Instead of me having to say slowly scroll through here and then eventually find, there it is, the nullberry, before I actually get to use it. I really like this. Some people are bothered by it. I think it's a great system. Remember, you can set these up how you want, but it's the top and bottom ones that you'll most use. The ones at the bottom here is where you're going to find the new ghillie mantle, which you can easily equip, makes you invisible, and you walk up to a monster and press circle to do a sneak attack, which is a new feature. Other things that I would recommend you be aware of are going to be, say, the pods. Using luring pods or dung pods is going to be a great way to separate groups as usual, especially for, say, doshaguma with its alpha herd pack thing. Separate them, it's so much easier. For balahara, I'd recommend screamer pods because those are going to get it out from under the sand regularly, easily, leading to free DPS time. And then, as I showed at the start, you have your shock traps, pitfall traps, and barrel bombs, as usual, as other options. But yeah, there's my quick overview of the beta and the stuff within it. It is very similar to the Gamescom demo that we saw and were able to play and get footage of. That's what we've been seeing online. And there's so much to do and explore, so I hope you guys have fun with it, especially those of you who are waiting, just a couple days for the open beta. We'll have lots of coverage, more to do with this very soon. But for now, I've been Hollow, you've been you, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.